Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Sudama pastime, 10:80:37. Suryaschastam gatastavat tamasa chavrata dishah nimnam kulam jalamayam na pragyayata kinchana. So, Suryaschastam gatam tavat. So, Surya Asta happened. So, here Krishna is describing a pastime when both of them had gone to the forest to collect firewood as per the Guru Mata's instruction, and then they had got trapped in an unseasonal storm with rains and thunder, and the storm didn't seem to relent. It went on and it became evening and then night. Tamasa chavrata dishaha. So it became darkness in all directions. Nimnam kulam jalamayam. Now it is water all around. So basically it was not just rains. When the rains are excessive, then they lead to flood. And so it seems that na pragyayata kinchana nimnam kulam. So nimnam is the lower land, the higher land. They could not understand it also. See now so it was generally when there is a storm, there it can be inconvenience. Oh, we have to reach at a particular time, but the flight gets cancelled. Inconvenience is one thing, but then say if we are trapped outdoors and then there is discomfort, say it's too hot and we don't have our clothes are very thick, or it's very cold and our clothes are not custom for that. So it's discomfort. So if it drizzles, it rains slightly and we become wet, it's irritating. But from discomfort, it can become much more than discomfort. The inconvenience is more logistical, discomfort is more physical. But from discomfort, there can lead to anxiety, fear. Oh, what is going to happen? Now from there it can go towards full-blown panic, and if there is threat to life itself, then what happens is, this is not just a discomfort. So for example, the rain is becoming so much that we are feeling that the flood is coming, and then when the flood comes, then at that particular time one needs to go to higher land. But if you cannot differentiate between which land is higher and which land is lower, then what does one do? So we see this was a serious crisis. Just being trapped in a flood is one thing, but being trapped in a flood in dark, not knowing which direction is shelter, that is far more dangerous. So there was a threat to life. Na pragyayata kinchana. It is not only are they trapped in the forest, but there's also an imminent threat to their life. Vayam bhrusham tat maha nilambubir nihanyamana mahurambu samplave disho vidanto atha parasparam vane grihit hastah paribhrimaturaha. So vayam bhrusham tatra mahanilambubir. So it's described that the whole forest was pervaded with a strong wind. Anila is wind, Maha is strong wind, so it's a storm. And Ambubhi is water. Vayam bhrusham is severe. There's a severe storm and wind throughout the forest. Nihanyamana mahurambu samplave. Nihanyamana, they were beset, afflicted, attacked. Muhurambu samplave. There's constant flooding. So the rains above and the water spreading all around. Disho vidanto ath parasparam vane. Disho vidanto. So not knowing which is the direction to go, being unable to discern at all. Ath parasparam vane. So in the forest, they had only each of them as their shelter. Gruhita hastaha paribhrimaturaha. They wandered aturaha, distressed. So here the predicament, the plight, the adversity that had befallen them is described. So now it is often experiences of pain and danger and adversity that often adversity. What is the effect of adversity on bonds? That when we have some relationship, during adversity, the bonds can sometimes break, can be broken, or they can be forged, they can be strengthened, they can become much deeper. So I had no one but you to count on, and when the two of us are together, then it is we give each other shelter. So here the incident itself, sometimes you may hear of it and it might seem trivial, go out to get firewood, but actually if we go consider the actual act, it's not that simple. Sometimes firewood is not easily available. We may need the right kind of wood. The Krishna and Sudama are not described as woodcutters over here, so they didn't go with an axe. It seems they just holding each other with their hands. So they're not cutting down trees. So whatever branches and twigs have fallen down, those are being used. So collecting firewood is no simple task. And in the Bhagavatam 6th canto, it described how it is that Ajamil also got caught in another kind of danger while he was out to collect firewood. He saw temptation and he got afflicted by that. Now dangers in this world can be broadly in two categories. One is tribulations, which we actually see as dangers. Tribulations is great adversities, great pains, and then there are temptations. So tribulations are when bad happens to us. Now temptations is where we are impelled to do bad. So we are impelled to do bad. Ajamil had also gone out to the forest on the instruction of, in that case it seemed his father had gone to collect firewood for his father's puja, and Krishna and Sudama had also gone out to the forest on instruction, that of their Guru Mata, so the wife of their Guru. So if you consider Ajamil and Krishna Sudama, the similarities and the differences. So if you consider, they are both out on instruction. So if we look at it from that perspective, let's understand the similarities and the differences. So first is, are they out on instruction? They're not gone because they wanted to go sightseeing. They were not out there for sense gratification. So both are yes. Now if we consider further, now they were in danger. Both of them were in danger. The type of the danger was different. that for Sudama it was tribulation. Something bad happened to them. And now something bad was asked of. He was allured to, he saw something which was, it was bad in the sense that it might seem enjoyable, but it was dangerous for dharma. Now, if we consider there the key differences, if we consider the situation, that if we consider the social aspect, that means that Ajamil was alone, Krishna and Sudama were together. And then we have the result, the effect. Effect was there was for Ajamil a fall down, a severe fall down, a catastrophic fall down. For Krishna and Sudama, as we will see, that they the great pleasure of Guru. Their Guru was pleased with them and they received Guru's blessings. Guru was pleased with them. So now, of course, the situation has many differences, and it is Krishna is a Kshatriya, Sudama is a Brahmana, Jamil was a Brahmana. So we could talk about those contextual differences if necessary. But one principle we learn is that it's very easy to lose faith in danger. But repeatedly, grihit hastaha, that's something similar of holding hands. So holding hands indicates, it's one is shaking hands, the other is holding hands. Shaking hands is a form of greeting. Holding hands is very different from shaking hands. So shaking hands can be cordial. It can also be intimate, but shaking hands is more of a formal and cordial. We may greet somebody unknown also, but now when people hold hands together, now of course in today's world, if two men hold hands together in the West, that conveys something that they are much more than friends, given the prevalence of various sexual orientations, and that is because of the cultural conditioning of today's world. But holding hands, it's of we are holding or supporting hearts. That means each of them is encouraging each other. And it's significant now in Krishna Sudama, their present meeting and their past adventure. Both of them have the same feature. That same feature is that when Krishna sits with Sudama, what he does is they are shaking hands. Both of them, not shaking hands, holding hands. So in both places, they are holding hands. So it is a very sweet trip down memory lane, and Krishna spontaneously does what is required to make that trip down memory lane memorable. That sometimes if those particular stimulations are recreated, then that becomes much easier to remember, to not just remember but to re-enter into that particular situation. So Krishna is doing that over here, and sometimes if we go to the place where an event had happened and then recollect the event, the recollection is much deeper. But that's not possible. They're in a different place now. They're not in the Guru's ashram, so they're holding hands together. That also matters. And that's what makes the trip much more memorable. So we'll continue in our next session.